Hi teachers, this is Marcy again, and I'm giving you a quick little tour of Promethean Planet and how to use Promethean Planet. First thing I would tell you is if you've never set up an account, you absolutely need to do that. It is free because you'll need that to be able to get your resources. Now in this case, you're looking at a window of Promethean Planet that I came to simply because I clicked there from within the Inspire software. Generally, when you come into Promethean Planet, though, it will land you on the home page. And so just wanted you to be aware, this first page will always give you new places to go. You'll notice that tomorrow, because I'm recording this on September 22nd, it's telling you that they're doing a session for a free Promethean webinar. And they will show you different things going on in new news. There's always a little spotlight section. You can look here for yourself. They always show how many resources, downloads, and members are here. Editor's Pick will show you a couple of lessons that the editors feel are really good, and there are areas that people can come in and discuss what's going on. Active Inspire 2.0 is out. We will be upgrading your Macs to Mavericks and bringing you to Active Inspire 2.0 in the coming days. Good news is no big changes. It's just a refreshed version, and so it won't be a big deal to learn something new. You always have the ability from this top bar to do search resources, lessons, images, more. You can search right from this top bar. So if I'm teaching fractions, I could do fractions and I could hit search. And when I do that, it's going to tell me it's talking to Promethean Planet, and I'm going to get some resources. Now, on the right, you're going to see publisher created things that are for purchase. Usually here you're going to see your things first that we would just be using from others. It tells you how many you got. So here we're displaying 1 to 10 of 826. That's a whole lot of stuff to get. And so the thing I would tell you is when you go to search, even from the home page, there's this little button called Advanced Search, and I'll take you back to home so you can see this. What I would advise is go straight to Advanced Search, because the more resources that they have on the page, the harder it gets to hit exactly what you want. So I could do something like fractions, and then I can start to narrow things down. So I can look at, obviously I want math, and I probably would guess that I would want skills in here, number. My math teachers, I might just hit all maths and grab anything in fractions. So this is subject area. This one's going to be key. Type and age range. What is it I'm looking for here? Do I want lesson plans? Do I want projects? Do I want instructional materials? You can decide to look for just a certain thing, or you can leave nothing checked and kind of get everything. You also can start to search for your age range. So I'll go with 8 through 11 since that's mostly who I see on a general day. You can come into file formats. I could tell it that, hey, I want anything that's a Promethean Flipchart and a Promethean resource pack. Resource packs are pieces that you can add on to your Inspire, adding different images and backgrounds and things like that. So I could tell it I want any of these things. I also could come here and check off it has to have a video, or it has to be a self-paced assessment, which means you would be using clickers here. Flash is little video clips, special type of video clip, audio, or assessment things. In this case, I'm just going to leave that alone. And you don't generally need to come here, but I just wanted you to see that you could come in and you could change languages. So if I teach Spanish, I'm going to be over here maybe changing my language to see if I can find something for my kids. And of course, you can narrow by country. So I might want to check United States, but if I did English, that does suffice. You don't have to change it. So at that point, once I've gone through my filters and picked what I want, and I still have my keyword of fractions, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit search. And at that point, you notice that the number of results is greatly changed. I'm now to 1 to 10 of 49. And so I can come and I can look through. Some of the lessons may have reviews where somebody said what they liked or didn't like. You can see favorites. You can see how many times people downloaded and looked at things. You have two options when you get to it. You can just click straight to the lesson, or from here you could do a preview and you could do a download. So what you would want to do is kind of scroll through and look for a lesson that looks like what you want. And so in this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at this one right here. That's a 3rd grade math lesson. It's basic fractions. I can look at the date. It came up in 2012. Check dates because sometimes that helps. As you get to newer ones, you may find things more aligned with Common Core. So I think I like this one. I'm going to come back. I would highly advise you click on Preview. Preview is going to give you a chance to look at it a little better and see if that's what you actually wanted to use. And so you can flip through at the bottom as long as the computer you're on has Inspire. If not, it will have a prompt where you can put a viewer on your computer to look at it. And so I can kind of flip through and see what I have in this lesson. And so let's say I decide that this is not the lesson I want. I can simply use my back browser button and get right back to where I was. And I can go and I can say, okay, what is it I want? And I can find a different one. And so at that point, you're able to come and find different parts and pieces. And so let's say this one, equivalent fractions and scaffolds into reducing fractions. So I'm going to preview this one. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see if this is what I want. Again, just like I did before. And it takes a moment to load the pages sometimes. And sometimes I'm seeing the previews and it's not fully loading. But let's say this is the one I decide I want. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on download. And it tells us our download should begin automatically, but if it doesn't, I can start the download manually. What you see, I'm running in Chrome right now. In Chrome, the download comes up on the bottom of the page, and so it's downloading my thing. And at that point, it's just got a few more seconds. And once it finishes, I'm going to give it a moment, and it's finishing it up. If it doesn't do anything further, which sometimes I've seen it go and sometimes I haven't, if I double click on that, you notice that it has now opened and I have a different little piece up here. These are different ones that I've been using as I've worked my way through doing some things. And so it actually opens up this lesson in Inspire once I click on it. Okay, and once I do that, I can now come back to my page browser on this side. And I can look through, oh, that one had music, and I can look through and see what I have. So I want to show you a couple things to look at when you download a lesson. One of the things they taught us to teach teachers is always look at this notes page as you browse through. So I'm going to flip through, and you can see we have music on that one. One of the things they advised us to do when we built things and shared them, and not everybody knows to, so some people do, some don't. Sometimes in the notes browser, people will type in notes telling you what to do with this page or where the buttons that work are and things like that. Sometimes you'll have that, sometimes you won't. I would also advise that you come into here and that you kind of work your way through. I'm going to skip over the one with music this time. Let's pretend that we really like what she's doing and we want to use this. But maybe there's a page that we just know we're not going to use. So I'm going to grab a page just and I'm going to say that this is the one I'm not going to use. I always have the ability to come in here and from this page, when I click on this little button, I can delete it. I can also right click on the page so that it's the gray one and click delete. Either one will let me take out that particular page. You also always have the ability to come in and let's say for some reason this image doesn't make you happy. You can click on that image and hit delete on your keyboard. Or I could have clicked on the image and right-clicked. Remember, if you do something you don't like, edit and undo is your friend. And so there's that image. I could have right-clicked and I could have deleted it. So you can always come in and change up a lesson. She looks like she did this one right around Halloween probably. Maybe I'm not doing Halloween. But if I like the rest of the lesson, it's pretty easy to come in here and I could drag in a different background and change things around. And so that's the really big power of Promethean Planet is that you can take things and adjust them to the way you need them. It also pulls some different things, probably based on the things I've searched for. And so that's what Promethean Planet can do for you as far as searching resources. I want to just show you very quickly, if you look up something like Halloween, since that was the equivalent fractions we just did, I'm going to go ahead and run a search on that. Now, if I run a search and I didn't narrow it first, like I just did now, and I have 206 things, and I don't have time to search through that, I still have the ability, once I've searched on something, to add what is it I want to do here. So I might say something like, I'm just simply looking for a resource pack. And I could go ahead and notice now it's adding that and updating my search. And so now I have some different little resource packs. And so I could look through and say, which one do I think I want? And I could come and preview this resource pack just like we did with anything else. Which you need to realize those resource packs don't usually have much of a preview. It just tells us it has backgrounds and clip art. So if I decide I like it, I'm going to click on download. And again, it's going to tell me that it should begin. And if it doesn't, I can start it manually. And my computer's working on that download. Sometimes you'll see it start bouncing here in your downloads. That one is already here. Now, these behave a little differently. If I double click this, it's going to warn me and ask me what it is I'm trying to do. It says there's no application set to open this document. Now, what we want it to do is open and Inspire. So I can do choose application, and we're going to let it load for a moment. And when it loads, we're going to see if we can actually pull Inspire. I also would recommend sometimes you may want to switch to all, but let's see if it gives us the option to get to it. And I'm going to scroll through and see if I see. Okay, in the Promethean folder, so I just clicked on Promethean, and then I'm going to go to the one that says Active Software Inspire. And let's see if it shows us the program. And it's not giving us the option to do it that way. But when I change it to all applications in here, I can click on Inspire. And it tells me it doesn't know if it can open it, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to say open. And as you see, what it immediately does here is it tells me, please choose the import location. And I'm going to tell it that I want to put this in my resources because this is something I downloaded and I want to be able to find it again later. So I'm going to hit on my resources and it's going to index my library. And I had mentioned this in a previous video clip that this could take some time. It's important to let it do this because without indexing, you won't have the ability to search for things in your resource library. So I'm going to give it this moment to index. And so now it has finished indexing. And so I'm going to come back here to my resource browser. I'm going to just go ahead and clear that out of search. I'm going to come to my resources. And what you'll find is usually it dumps things into a whole folder here. And so here's the folder for Halloween and fall resources. Now I'm going to come on into an untitled one. And I'm going to flip to a clear page. And what you see is it shows you different backgrounds mostly. And so those are here. And it has other pieces that it's still loading at this point. And so I'm going to let it load all those parts and pieces. And it has some other images. And again, this is going to take a little while to get everything to load. Every now and then somebody will have put something that may not work on your version of something. If that's the case, it may just stay like that and tell you that it can't play. But what you get are different images and parts and pieces, backgrounds that you can then use to build lessons. You can see that some of these are things that I've put. You also have certain pieces that are special to your setup that get stored into here. I have previously downloaded season backgrounds, and here was winter. Occasionally, let's kind of clear that out because I don't think those go together so well. But you can even occasionally find things like this that are mixed in. And so it just kind of does take a little time to do a little digging to see what's there. I found one called Fun Backgrounds a while back that had like a chemistry lab set up, crayon border, desk lamp, pencils, a television screen, and different parts and pieces. So those are just ways to get resources in. So we've gone through how to get in Flipcharts and how to get in resources and how to actually bring them into your version of Inspire. And the more pieces and parts you add, the more functional your Inspire becomes for you.